Let's talk about this $449,000 app spree. I'm going to give you all the goods, tell you the bureaus that they pulled, everything that you need to know with this crazy app spree. So let's dive into it. All right, so welcome back. Hope you've been well, and welcome back to the channel. So here we are in March, and a lot has changed over the last 6 months in credit. And I think the one thing on a lot of people's mind is what has changed and what is kind of tightening up. There's a lot of stuff that you'll see on an individual basis, but I think down the middle, one of our previous videos covered it well. I want to show you this because this is a recent result that we got from about January till it's still ongoing, but we got everything into play by January and really, I think, started pulling the trigger in January. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been mid-January. But yeah, I wanted to show you what's possible. So currently the tally is over $440,000. You see it's 449 there at the bottom. I'm sure it's going to be more, but I just wanted to bring this to you now. And let's dive in. So at the onset of this, when we were first talking, is we really wanted to figure out a way to get maximal money. The profile was in good shape. I think there was a few little nagging things, let's call them, that needed to be cleaned up and wiped off. And that occurred, and that we started doing that in like December. And then I think other than that, move around some money and get some deposits start flowing. I think that was another thing that we did. But yeah, the big thing was to leverage these bigger lines of credit that exist. So BHG is a great place to get business loans. That's what you've heard up till this point. But it's also a great place to get personal loans. And there are some interesting vehicles that exist out there. For example, with UNFCU, United Nations, you can get different lines of credit. Like they have got one that goes up to 150%. BHG obviously offers pretty big personal loans. Now, this is beyond what you're usually used to hearing because, again, when people think personal loans, they probably think of like these fintechs, the Prospers, the Lending Trees, Lending Club, things like that. But banks do offer personal loans as well. Big banks, I don't know, depending on how much money you've got flowing to the account and your history, you can get a pretty good sized through that. But I think you have better luck with a credit union. And what we've noticed over the last, I'd say 12 months or so, is that when you're going into a credit union, you might as well try and maximize that hard pull. And we've had really great luck with getting locks or lines of credit, personal loans, getting into business products at the minute we're getting into the door. And so we're not just getting a personal credit card, we're getting multiple products off of sometimes one hard pull, sometimes multiple, but it's just really trying to get the best bang for our buck, right, with that. So anyways, this is what was decided to be the best first step, and they hard pulled TransUnion. Also too, the BHG personal loans do not report. So, use that for what it is. And then next, First Tech was already set up previously. So already seasoned account, membership was all good. Didn't have to really worry about anything there. So two things right out of the gate was a $35,000 credit card. This is the Odyssey. This is, no, the World Elite is the best, but I think the Odyssey is the second best, or this is the best. I can't remember. First Tech, you can look it up. We've got videos on the channel as well. So at the time of getting the credit card, got the line of credit as well. Again, some of these asked for additional information, proof of income. I think proof of income was required at just about every single one of these. Outside of Navy Fed, maybe one other, but yeah, Chase probably wasn't either. But yeah, for the most part, a credit union is going to ask for last couple bank statements. And you want to show this, especially if you're a high earner, which I'm going to share with you some more information about their personal credit profile here in a bit. It was over 800. I believe it was like 810 to 820 at the time. When we started and sat down, it was 750s. We got a few things cleaned up and removed, and then it bumped up to over 800, okay? So next was Unify. So these are in order. Next was Unify. And so First Tech was Experian. So that's two hard pulls here. Excuse me, one hard pull for these two products. And then Unify was next. Unify Credit Union. And that was another Experian hard pull. Line of credit, 15,000. Next was Navy Fed. This was a previously burnt relationship and still had membership, still was able to go in and get a pre-qual. So, and still was able to, open more products. So we tested it and made sure. And then, yeah, looked good, cool. So pre-qual comes back. All of them are pre-qualled. So let's go for it. And this was flagship. And this was a big boy. This was right out of the gates, a $30,000 limit. I actually think this might be the largest starting limit I've seen. Yeah, I think this might be the largest starting limit I've seen on a Navy Fed. It's usually 25K is pretty common for a large limit, but 30K, I think that's the first. So this is now the second inquiry on TransUnion. And then next is UMPQ. QUA, this is another kind of oddball bank you don't really hear a lot about. Line of credit, this was 25,000, EQ hard pull, not the executive line. So they've got different lines that you can get through them. And you see, the thing that I want you to pay attention to is look at how we're playing these, okay? Look at how we're playing these. And then also too, this is when we go and get Chase. So we had there was 0 inquiries before this. So we already had 2 inquiries showing up, and then, okay, let's hit Chase. And Chase was, I don't even think anything special. Like there's not a lot of volume going through that account. Didn't have to jump through any hoops, didn't have to talk to a BRM, none of that. 16,000 I think is a pretty good limit. That was the ink, I'm not sure which one. Great limit. For the most part, you wanna be using it, and you gotta see that you need a larger limit. You need another big limit to go with the same card that you've got, or you need another card of what you've already got. They wanna see why that is. So it's not enough to just tell them you want it or ask for it. For the most part, they want to see that. But yeah, could maybe squeeze another card out of this if we wanted to. Doesn't really matter. I mean, at this point, we're splitting hairs in terms of what's been gotten. Next was BECU, and I believe that was EQ as well, even though it's not tagged on here. Oh no, it wasn't, because these are both business. So BECU personal was already done. I want to say October. So personal was set up. I can't remember what the personal was for BECU, so we'll just put it on the screen after I check my notes afterwards. Yeah, and then got a business credit card and a business line of credit, which I think this is pretty good considering I believe they already had 10,000 plus on a credit card. But again, you'll see that underneath right now. Next, KeyBank tried for business side, even though the business wasn't 2 years old. But again, strong personal credit profile, strong stated income, had a previous relationship with somebody that worked at KeyBank, said, hey, I might be able to get you in, tried to get them in, didn't work. So then we fell back to, hey, let's just get personal. Again, a lot of people are thinking KeyBank, business, business, business. But you need 2 years history. Even if you have somebody on the inside, like he knew somebody, and it still wouldn't help him get the card. So went with personal, 12.5. I think that's a great limit on the cash rewards, and that is a EQ hard pull on personal. Next was Truist, avoided hard inquiry, played the game, basically went through soft pull, got back, I think all 5 or 6 cards, and then went ahead and froze EQ, pulled the trigger and got it. So $10,500 limit on that, which is good. Could have pushed a little bit more on Truist, could have gone into a branch and done business with personal. Just got one, it's fine for now. Next is WECU, that's another credit union. That was Experian, 30,000. I think they had some issues where they were saying too many new accounts. And so you see now we're starting to get into this issue where look at all these new accounts. Now these are business, obviously, business, 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 but the personal stuff is starting to show up outside of BHG. So at this point in the spree, it's like, okay, now we're gonna start to have some sensitivity. Now we're gonna really see how strong the personal credit profile is affecting things, right? And did quite well. United Nations, as I said, that was denied. Bank of America ended up trying, I think, the bank card, yeah, denied for that, and then did get approved for a credit limit increase up to 16,000. I don't remember what that card was before. Again, I'll put it on the screen now. So those are those two. Okay, yep, WCU covered that. Okay, next up is GESA Credit Union. That's GESA Credit Union. Another one that's not that common. 30,000. I think originally he was going to try and get 2 cards. I believe this is just 1 card. And so this was a Equifax hard pull on this. Again, normal statement stuff, ID verification, all the basic stuff, which that question tends to get asked a lot. Okay, next, this is like maybe 2 weeks after getting the original Navy Fed on the personal side, already went through and got the business membership set up, and then, hey, let's try and apply for a business credit card. I've never seen this before. I've never seen a 2-week period. I think it was maximum 2 weeks to where we went from on the personal side getting a 30 on a flagship to a brand new business membership setup and getting a 25 on that as well. $25,000 limit on the business side is, to me, extremely high compared to what we've seen over the last 3 years. I think that's a fairly high limit. And yeah, this was an Experian hard pull and he got it removed because the trick there, if you want to do this at all, is before the card reports, before the new trade line reports, get it wiped off the personal. Because most of the time on business cards, they will pull the personal. So as long as the card isn't reporting yet, obviously you don't have it, then you can a lot of times wipe the inquiry and it doesn't affect the trade line being closed or anything like that because it's a business card, personal hard pull. Make sense? Okay, next. Bank of America went back there for business again, declined due to checking account too new. I don't remember how these two fell in. I don't remember the timing on these two. Okay, but it doesn't matter. FFNWB is next, and I believe that was the last one. Yes, and that was for 5,000. That was, what is this, TransUnion? And so if we look, we just got 4 on TransUnion, we got 3 on Equifax, and 4 on Experian. Not bad for the amount of credit that we got, right? And there was a lot of planning and navigating, and like we took our time. Understand that this wasn't like, you know, all done in some super compressed amount of time. It was done over time, over weeks and weeks and now months of talking back and forth and strategizing and playing through how we wanted to really do this. And so, yeah, I guess he's disputing that inquiry, which that's fine. And then there's some other options that we've got here. It looks like BMO Harris was declined. I think he tried again for a BHG, which I was like, dude, you're nuts. But sure, go for it. And he went for that. And then I believe we still got possibly a Gemini, a PNC, a Wells Fargo, and then he's going to go for an executive personal loan, possibly there, which might be pushing it on the personal loan side. Again, if you're new to some of this stuff, you might be thinking, wow, you can get more than one personal loan. You actually can. In a good app spree, you can walk away with 2 good sized personal loans. Obviously, the personal loan here is the largest trade line that he got. So yeah, to reiterate again, is solid profile. We took it from 750s all the way up to over 800. It was in the low 800s, I think 810 to 820-ish. Stated income was like 300,000 to 400,000, depending on how much stuff he wanted to add in. He had a lot of additionals he could add in. So rock solid there. Rock solid pay stubs, you know, no questions there. Rock solid W-2s. So when you got a situation like this, you can really squeeze and you can really push. Clearly, I think if we're to take like a small break, could probably push another 50 to 100 in a couple months. But definitely in like 6 months, we're talking, let's go back at credit limit increases. Let's go back and, you know, push in some new areas, right? Because there's another 4 or 5 credit unions that haven't even been touched yet that have been set up with membership and are getting seasoned up right now. So yeah, again, also too, this was done over a long period of time. This is done over like 3 months. We did a lot of prep work. There's a lot of back and forth, and then really, it was just about execution. And so that's it. This is a big boy. I believe this is the biggest one that we've shown on the channel. Super happy with this, super satisfied, and proud of this dude for doing it, because this will dramatically help him in his business and what he's going for, which is what we're doing with all of this. This is a tool. This is an opportunity for us to completely change our lives. There are very few countries in the world, on the planet right now, that have credit systems like the United States. And it's just a shame that the education around it is still so bad. That's hopefully what videos like this will help, you know, inspire, motivate, and get you guys moving, get you guys thinking. Comment below if you got questions, comment below if you got something to say. Otherwise, watch more videos on the channel. Trust me, there is a ton of gold on this channel. If you were to just go through this channel and watch the videos on it, you could end up walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit, and it was all for free. We've literally had people do it. Yeah, watch some more videos. It helps this channel so much more than you realize. Commenting, liking, all that other stuff does help as well. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Hey, you should subscribe. 60% of you are not subscribed yet. Right there. Okay, bye.
Wild monkey.